The pain of staying where you're no longer welcome. Have you ever felt that tightness in your chest? When you know you should leave, but you stay. You stay because you hope they'll change. You stay because you want to be understood. You stay because explaining yourself feels safer than disappearing. But here's a truth most people run from. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for your soul is to leave. Quietly. No big scene. No dramatic goodbye. No final monologue hoping they'll finally understand. Just a silent exit. A door that closes behind you. Not out of hate, but out of self-respect. Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Sometimes your unconscious fear of being alone keeps you stuck in rooms you've outgrown. It keeps you explaining yourself to people who've already decided not to listen. It keeps you hoping for approval from people who can't give it. So today, let us talk about the truths that set you free. The lessons you don't want to hear, but you need to. Hard truth number 1. People hear you based on who they are, not what you say. You can pour out your heart. Write the perfect message. Choose the perfect words. But if they are committed to misunderstanding you, nothing you say will reach them. Your peace is worth more than endless explanations. Hard truth number 2. Not everyone deserves access to you. You may think being endlessly available makes you kind. You think staying just in case makes you loyal. But all it does is drain you. Sometimes, the lesson you need to learn is this. Your presence is a gift. When you keep giving to people who show you who they are, you reteaching them, it is okay to take you for granted. Stop giving it to people who haven't earned it. Hard truth number 3. If they wanted to, they would. This one cuts deep. We love to make excuses. They're busy. They didn't mean it like that. They'll change one day. But actions never lie. If they wanted to call, they would. If they wanted to show up, they would. If they wanted to love you fully, they would. When you stop explaining away the obvious, you reclaim your power. Hard truth number 4. The longer you stay, the more you bleed. Every time you stay where you're unvalued, you lose a piece of yourself. Your self-worth drips away, drop by drop. Your nervous system stays on edge, waiting for crumbs of approval. Your soul keeps asking, why do we keep doing this? One day you will wake up and realize you gave so much to people who didn't even say thank you. Leave before you reach that day. Why do you stay? You stay because you're loyal. Because you're scared of the emptiness that comes when you walk away. Because you'd rather hold on to what you know than risk starting over. But here's what Jung would remind you. What you cling to out of fear becomes your prison. If you want to heal, you have to trust this. Sometimes, the silence you find after leaving is more healing than all the noise you stayed for. A soft reminder, this isn't about becoming cold. It's not about ghosting everyone who hurts you. It's about recognizing when staying is self-betrayal. When you feel your soul shrinking every time you explain yourself, that's the sign. Leave silently. Close the door gently. Do it for you, not for them. If this truth is waking something up inside you, comment enough below. Tell your future self, you're ready. Stop explaining. They know what they're doing. Some people don't misunderstand you by accident. They misunderstand you because it keeps them comfortable. Every time you explain, they get more power. They get to play innocent. They get to make you doubt what you feel. Hard truth number 5. You don't owe anyone an explanation for saving yourself. You're allowed to leave a room that makes you shrink. You're allowed to choose silence over begging to be seen. You're allowed to walk away without a closing speech. You do not owe closure to people who refuse to hear you the first time. Hard truth number 6. They know. They just don't care enough. I know that hurts. You want to believe they don't see what they're doing? But they do. They know you stay up at night, replaying their words. They know you bend over backwards to keep them happy. They like the power, the control, so they give you just enough crumbs to keep you hopeful, but never enough to make you feel safe. Stop waiting for them to suddenly wake up. They won't. Hard truth number 7. You can't fix people who benefit from breaking you. Sometimes your love is just fuel for their ego. Sometimes your patience is just permission for them to keep using you. You think if you love them more, they'll get better. You think if you explain it perfectly, they'll finally see your worth. But you can't heal someone who profits from your wounds staying open. Let that truth sink in. Hard truth number 8. Loyalty to others means nothing. If you keep betraying yourself, you call it loyalty. But is it loyalty? Or fear? Fear of starting over. Fear of being alone. Fear of facing the parts of yourself you've abandoned while trying to hold everyone else together. True loyalty begins when you choose you. Hard truth number 9. Your boundaries will upset the people who benefit from you having none. When you finally pull back, when you stop answering every text, every call, every crisis that's not yours, some people will get angry. Good. Their anger is proof that your old role was never about love. It was about convenience. They weren't loving you. They were using you to avoid themselves. You can't be their escape anymore. Carl Jung's reminder. What you ignore rules. Jung taught that anything we keep in the dark grows stronger. If you keep ignoring your resentment, your exhaustion, your truth, it will rule you. That's why leaving quietly is powerful. It's not running away. It's refusing to fight battles that keep you small. This is what happens when you stop explaining. You get your energy back. You see clearly. You realize how much noise you tolerated just to feel wanted. You learn to sit with the silence. And it stops being scary. Because that silence is where you hear your soul again. If you feel your heart beating faster right now, you know this truth is yours. Comment, I deserve peace. Say it to yourself, even if your voice shakes. How to walk away and still keep your peace. So, you're here because deep down you know it's time to leave. Not with fireworks, not with revenge, not with a dramatic speech hoping they'll finally understand. Just a quiet, steady exit. An exit that says, I choose my peace more than I choose your comfort. Hard truth number 10. Not everyone gets a goodbye closure is a beautiful idea. But some people don't deserve it. Some people don't even care enough to hold the door while you leave. So why waste your breath? You don't need to wrap every ending in a pretty bow. Some endings are messy, silent, incomplete. And that's okay. The real closure happens inside you, not in their reaction. Hard truth number 11. Leaving is not failing. Staying too long is they'll say you gave up. They'll say you're selfish. They'll paint you as the villain in their story. Let them. You are not here to play the hero for people who drown you. You're not here to keep watering dead things. Walking away doesn't mean you failed. It means you finally listened to the part of you that's been whispering, we can't do this anymore. Hard truth number 12. Peace often looks like loneliness at first. This is the part no one talks about. The silence after you leave can feel brutal. You're so used to the chaos, the noise, the begging for scraps of love. Now you're alone with yourself. And that's scary. But here's the secret. That silence is not emptiness. It's space. Space to hear your own thoughts. Space to feel your own feelings. Space to find your own voice. The one that was drowned out by all the explaining, begging, and staying. How Carl Jung would see it, Jung knew the journey is never just about other people. It's about your shadow. The part of you that clings to what hurts, because it's familiar. When you leave quietly, you're not just walking away from them. You're walking away from the version of you that believed you had to stay. You're saying, I won't betray myself to feel wanted. That's real individuation. That's what it means to become whole. So, how do you actually do it? You don't need to explain. You don't need to wait for permission. You simply get clear. What drains you? Who do you shrink for? What version of you dies every time you say yes? When you mean no, then you take the steps. Stop answering. Stop engaging. Stop explaining. Not with rage, but with a calm that terrifies them more than your words ever could. Your peace is too expensive to waste one day. You'll look back and thank yourself for leaving. You'll see how much lighter your spirit feels. You'll see how many better things flow in when you stop clinging to what was never yours. Remember, they know what they did. They know why you left. They just hope you don't figure it out. Now you have. If you feel this in your soul, comment, I choose peace. Let it be a promise to yourself. You won't explain your worth, ever again. After you leave, how to stay free, so you did it. You stopped explaining. You stopped hoping they'd finally get it. You chose the door. You chose silence. And now, what? At first, the quiet will feel like a void. You'll want to run back, fill it with noise. Any noise, because silence can feel like punishment. But here's the truth. Silence isn't punishment. It's a sacred reset. When you're no longer performing for people who never clapped for you, you finally hear your own applause. When you're no longer explaining your worth, you finally feel it. Your nervous system will take time to adjust. Your body was wired for the chaos. The constant tension, the waiting, the hoping, the justifying. When you leave, your nervous system will panic at first. You'll feel guilty for resting. You'll wonder if you overreacted. You'll replay old conversations in your head, trying to find a way you could have stayed. Let yourself grieve the version of you that didn't know better. That's not weakness. That's healing. Protect your energy like it's sacred. Because it is. Don't let the same people crawl back in through new doors. They'll test you. They'll poke at your new silence. They'll say, "You've changed," like it's a crime. Good. You are not obligated to be the same person you were in the story. They loved controlling. Let them be confused. Let them gossip. Let them spin their tailies. You know your truth. And the right people, the ones who don't feed off your light but cherish it, will find you in this quiet. This is what freedom feels like. Freedom isn't loud. It's not a speech. It's not an argument you win. Freedom is knowing you can choose peace every day, even when the old parts of you beg you to go back. Freedom is the morning you wake up and realize you no longer crave their apology. You no longer want revenge. You no longer want to prove your point, because your life itself becomes the proof. You're happier, lighter, routed. No more knots in your chest every time you see their name. What Carl Jung would remind you, he'd remind you that individuation, becoming whole, requires sacrifice. Sometimes the sacrifice is the version of you that thought staying would save you. Sometimes the sacrifice is the illusions you held about who they were. And sometimes the sacrifice is your need to be understood. Let them misunderstand you. Let them think what they want. Your soul is too expensive to be rented out, too cheap opinions. The final truth, you were never too much. You were never too sensitive. You were never too demanding. You were just asking for the bare minimum: respect, care, reciprocity, in places where it could never be given. So now, you stop asking. You stop knocking on closed doors. You stop explaining your worth. You leave. You rest. You rebuild. And you become a new kind of unavailable. Not out of spite, but out of because you, my friend, are no longer everyone's safe place to dump their chaos. You are yours. If you stayed until this final truth, tell me below. I'm ready to be free. Let this be your promise to yourself. A question for you. Who do you still explain yourself to? Even though they've already shown you they'll never understand. Share this video with someone who needs the courage to leave, silently. Subscribe for more soul deep reminders that your peace is worth more than your performance.